Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. This is Donna Sharp with Holistic Wellbeing. Thank you so much for joining me here this evening. I am truly excited. This is day 500 of me doing these lives since January 1st of 2019. It's very hard to believe. So I'm pinching myself. I'm wondering, is it really true? I always explain to you guys that time never just goes fast. It's because we have so much involved in our days, why it seems like our lives are just, what should I say, snowboarding away, right? But in any event, hi, Miss Margaret. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. So in any event, this is the official mark of 500 days since I've been doing these lives consistently. People come and join me on the live, and people go, and some people come on for a while and then they fall off, and they may not come back again for a while, and they'll message me and say, you know, I missed out on some of your lives. So the message that I want to teach you guys is, not about me necessarily, because the things that I do, it's not for my purpose. I explained that before. It's for the purpose of teaching you guys good habits. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything like that, but one of the most important things in your life you definitely want to initiate is having some form of consistency in anything that you do. So if it's fitness training, if it's eating right, if it's exercising, if it's mindfulness, if it's understanding how to treat individuals, right? If it's understanding how to save, if it's understanding how to develop a new goal and following through with it till the very end. I don't know. I can go on and on about the different things that a lot of people start, but they never, ever continue and follow and see it through. So I'm very excited to be here tonight because, it was 2 days, packed-filled days of events that a lot of you that were actually going through. We celebrated Mother's Day yesterday. You can probably see on the back of my wall here, there's a happy B-Day for my son. And so we had a great time because his birthday, his 21st birthday, was actually on Mother's Day. So we had the privilege of not only celebrating my son's 21st birthday, a marking tradition, and the ability to start a new role in his life, but also for the moms that gathered together and were in the room. All right. So we had my mom and myself, and there was several other people, not several, but a few. And so by being able to celebrate my son's life and the continuation of the moms that were in the room, it was truly impactful. And it's something that I feel, which I'm going to segue right into, which is tonight's discussion topic, is how do you create traditions? How do you make family traditions and create them and identify your own characteristics around it and keep it moving forward the way that you desire it to be, not necessarily how your traditions were created in the past. Right? I spoke on tradition when we started the subject from this book, How to Create a Strong Family Background. And one of the things is, now we're going to talk about traditions more in depth. So how do you create a tradition in your family, right? Utilizing some of the things that you were taught, but tying in other things that you feel is necessary for your existing family. Because keep in mind that, hi Gloria, keep in mind that whatever one family does is not the same thing another family is going to do. Everyone has their own unique characteristics, their own unique styles. So you have to play with it and just maneuver it the way you feel best, especially for your children and your family. So a lot of the focus that I've been speaking on, if you had not joined me before for the past 3 weeks, I've been on the same book and different topics in that book that pertains to how to create strong family background by identifying different things, such as how do you write a checkbook. This is all pertaining to your children. And I focus on the children because I feel that they are our next generation. And if we don't teach them some of the basics, they're going to go out and try to find it and locate it in the wrong places. So how do you write checks? How do you understand the benefits of credit cards? Should you cut up those credit cards that you have, right? How do you create roles in your family and responsibilities so everyone there can do their thing and at the same time get rewarded and a payday for doing it and being able to save money? We covered everything for the past 3 weeks. So if you missed it, I titled all my lives. You can go back and hit replay based on what you think was pertinent that would fit best for you. Maybe everything is not for you, right? So with that in mind, I'm going to speak on making family traditions tonight. Here's a great segue from Mother's Day and celebration. I'm amazed at how God works, because each item that I speak on a different night, it's tying into something else that happened in my life or happened in all of our lives for whatever reason. And Mother's Day was yesterday, right? So whatever you did for Mother's Day, your grandmother, all the people that are valuable in your life, you just created a mark in your life for the next full year and for a lifetime. So what did you do with your mom? How did you celebrate your grandmother? You know, some of us don't have moms or don't have grandmothers. But what did you do? What did it look like? So 10 years from now, you go back and you say, oh my gosh, I remember we were all dancing, we were cutting up, having a good time. That's what we did. We were cutting up, you know, we had a nice meal together and we just celebrated each other. We celebrated my son. We spoke good things about him while he was here. So it's just all in the aspect of how you view things. So here we go. Let's talk about how we create family traditions. So how do we do that? Well, you can take a look at the list of traditions from the past. All right, the list. Make a list of all the different traditions that you're familiar with, the things that you actually experienced yourself. Maybe you didn't experience something. Maybe there's something you saw that you wanted to incorporate. Make a list, right? Maybe there's things that you enjoyed over the years. Make a list. Well, the list then. In this case, they suggested from this book, it should be like a menu. All right, make it a menu. It allows others to receive examples while including your own creativity. Remember, I spoke about it doesn't matter what traditions that was created out there before, because maybe that one's not going to match your family. Your family is going to have different personality, different liking. You might create something and then share it with the family. They just look at you and laugh at you and say, what are you doing, mommy? This is not going to work for us, because you know that we're this type of people. So it's almost like you have to work through it and then get away the faulty parts and add good parts and whatever it is that it takes, right? So and then you get started. Then after you make your list and you decide this is what we're going to do from year to year because this is what we enjoy, and you make your list and you get started. Now, keep in mind these things. Creating a family is not always alike. It's not like a restaurant, right? Creating a family is not like a restaurant because years of parenting, struggling, traditions, sometimes don't work out the way you want them to work out. Hi, Wanda. How are you? Thanks for joining. They don't often work out the way you imagine them to work out. So it's not like just creating a plain list, right? So it's not a menu. We're going to go back to what we just said about a menu. It's not necessarily a menu because you can't just list things and say, oh my gosh, we're just going to follow this list and it's going to work. You have to be able to bend with that list, so to speak, because again, some things are just not going to work out for you. So you have to know how to curtail it to fit you and match you. So nothing is ready-made for you. It's like you hear sometimes parents say, man, I wish they had this menu, what do you call it? A list of how to parent. What do I do? Step 1, step 2, step 3. If we had this straight list, then we'll have all the children being the same. They'll have all the same personality. They'll have all the same style, their likes and dislikes. So it'll be a boring world, don't you think? You need it to be able to change it and mold it so that it feels comfortable to you and it's creative in nature and you can take it away and run with it and people will enjoy that even better, right? So you can't just think about it as just a straight list, what you'd like, and order it. You say, I want to be a parent. This is my list and this is what I'm going to turn in and this is what I'm going to use to create this family that I really want. It's going to be perfect. It's going to look like this. That's not how this works. I'm here to tell you, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but life is just not like that. All right. So family traditions mimic a recipe book. We're going to switch from it being a list, right, to a recipe book. So here's how that would look. So you have to make things for yourself from scratch. And when I say things for yourself from scratch, you have to take a look at your family dynamics, take a look at your children, find out what their likes are, their dislikes, the things that they gravitate to, how much they have, what is their attention span like? Do they stay on one thing for long or do they veer off and float around? Remember, you're dealing with children, so they're not fully developed as adults until a certain age. So what do they like? You know, how are some of them more creative? Are some of them more analytical? I mean, you have to take a whole lot of things into perspective when you do that, right? So you have to make things for yourself from scratch. Now, example, what does your children like to eat? And we're talking about this in form of a recipe and a menu. You'll see how this comes together. What do they like to eat? What ingredients do you have, and what to make and how to cook it, right? Isn't that what you do when you're when you're trying to create a new meal, or you've never tried it before, and you maybe saw a recipe or saw someone do it, and you say, you know what, I'm going to try it for myself because I want to go outside of the normal things that I'm doing and mix it up and make it more fun, right? And then something really special, extra nourishing, maybe you want to add a little pizzazz to it now. So what do? This would include going to the store, right? You have to go to the supermarket, and then you have to find the items that you need, especially if it says nourishing. And you know that's my spiel because I believe in holistic form of living, right? So you go to the store, you buy the extra ingredients, you then teach your children something new and unfamiliar, because now they're going to appreciate you. They're going to say, wow, we never really ate this particular item before. So, and I'm using the menu as an example of how to create your tradition. Don't get lost. Stay with me. All right. So teaching your children something that's unfamiliar, something that's new, and new and exciting things really grabs their attention. All right. Now, again, keep in mind, be careful about the ones that we choose, picking those values and communication. Be very, very careful. That's the first thing. The second thing is careful not to overcook or overheat, which means you're incorporating too many traditions and everything becomes cumbersome. And now what's going to happen is you're going to lose the true meaning of the tradition. So, and I mention this all the time, especially from this book. They speak about keeping it simple. I mentioned to you guys about the KISS method. You guys know what that is? KISS? Keep it simple, sweetie. If you never heard about that, that's basically what that stands for. When you start to throw other things in a mix, you start to complicate it and you lose people that way. All right? So then the third thing is think in terms of what our children need, what ingredients, in other words, that we want to have, and get them hands-on into it, and when I say the ingredients you want to include, it would be such things as the time, their resources, and all of those things that would be poured into making a nice tradition. All right. So you follow me? We're going by a new recipe. We're cooking. We're getting the ingredients. This is how you're pulling together your whole traditional layout so that you can start creating those memories for your family. Now, and again, the last thing is just be committed enough to put it all together and to take the time to let it cook. So once it's cooking and it's simmering, then you can go back and take your notes and say, you know what? Guess what? We tried this for a week. I noticed that they weren't able to keep up. They were missing this part. And so as you're analyzing it, then you can curtail that new tradition that you're trying to establish with your family, and you can get it to the point where it's just about right. And when it's right, you'll know, because then your children are going to be smiling. They're going to be excited. They're going to say, Mom, this is cool. And I'll give you an example now, because I'm getting ready to read you a story. And the story is from a young lady, all right? And she explains her memories that she was able to take away from traditions that were created for her. So I'm going to read her story, and it's so many things in there. I didn't want to just piecemeal it and miss an important part. So I'm going to read it directly to you and verbatim from the book that I've been coaching on for the past few weeks. All right. But in the meantime, I want to tell you a little story, and it's a story from yesterday, actually really recent story. But we had such a great time with my son. We did some pictures, and you guys have seen the pictures I've been posting. We did some family shots, and I've been posting them one by one, so you get a chance to see the creative things that we were doing with our family. And but we didn't finish there for my son. We wanted to make sure we sent him a video of his memories, so we did just that. So my daughter and I, we decided to dance to a song. We sang to him on the video camera, and then we sent that in the form of the video to him. So when he saw it and he spoke with me today, he was like, Mom, thank you so much. That just meant so much. It was personalized. It wasn't something that was fabricated and just made up. It was something just for him. And that's a memory for him. He'll never forget the next 10, 15, 20 years of his life. Even when I'm gone, he's still going to remember that memory. So we danced, we cut up, we were jumping around, and we were just laughing at each other, because we're like, oh my gosh, when he sees this video, he's going to really crack up, because he's going to know that we're crazy. But our whole family is just crazy and funny anyway. So there you have it. So it's something he can actually take away with him. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read this to you, because I just found it very fascinating as to what this young lady took away as far as her memories from her life. And she was a young lady from Let me see where she was from so I can tell you exactly. She was from Bulgaria. And let's see, to introduce the section tradition, let me share parts of a letter from our daughter in Bulgaria that came when we asked her for her input for this book. So this young lady gave her input for this particular book that I've been coaching from, and this is what she said. Be patient with me. It's not just a 2-paragraph thing. It's a little bit longer, but I'll go through it as quickly as I can. All right? So I love traditions. Anyone in my family can affirm this fact. I've been a traditionalist all of my life. I've thrown tantrums over traditions that are dropped or changed or altered in any way. And I've always rejoiced in holidays that are just so that includes all things I love, all of the memories remade and relived every year. I guess one reason I've always been so attached, can't speak today, always been very attached to tradition is that they give security and create memories. Perhaps the two things that make a family the strongest are security and memories. So I think traditions are vastly important. I could go on forever on this subject, but here's a few favorite traditions. At Christmas, I've always delighted in assigning roles and dressing everyone up as members of Mary's family for our annual Nazareth supper. That was always my job. Christmas Eve. How I love sitting around the candle-lit table, swayed in sheets and wearing odd bits of clothes on our heads, talking together as if we were Bible characters and laughing as Dad tries to be so serious and Joseph starts teasing Mary, and the little kids pick weird names for themselves like llama and hiawatha, and everyone complains that they can't see their food and that they hate dates and figs. Where's the ketchup for the fish? Jesus didn't eat ketchup. Really? Those candlelit scenes will never, ever be erased from my memories. All right? So I love Christmas mornings when Josh always wakes up first at about 3:30 or 4 o'clock a.m. and wakes everyone else up. We all eagerly look in our stockings that Santa leaves on our bedpost and dump out our candy and treats on the floor in Jonah's room so we can trade toys and candy and feast on oranges and candy canes until we were totally sick. And it's still about 4:30 a.m. Then we excitedly sit on the stairs singing Christmas carols until Mom and Dad wake up in a pairs with the messy hair, pajamas, and groggily make us line up to go into the living room, youngest to oldest or shortest to tallest. I like that way because then I'm nearly at the beginning. Dad goes turns on Christmas tree lights and some Christmas music, and finally everyone rushes into the room and searches out presents from Santa with their names on it. We try to be organized, one present at a time, but in the end there is a mad rush of crumpled wrapping paper and kids running around with remote control cars and dolls. Everything's open before 6 a.m. Then we have a wonderful Christmas brunch of eggs Benedict where there's never quite enough hollandaise sauce or asparagus, and we see our cousins and we play our new board games, and we fall asleep as we are so together. I could go on forever. Suffice to say, I love Christmas and the traditions we have made every member of family so vital, every moment so dear, and every memory so perfect. I also love birthday traditions. Some birthday traditions really stuck, others didn't, and that's okay. On Dad's birthday, we always got to the park, rake up huge piles of leaves and jumped in them and bury each other in them. For all of my life, I'll always remember the time we were celebrating Dad's birthday in the leaves, and Mom and Dad announced another baby would be joining the family. What joy that was. I remember one birthday Dad had when we went to the park in the pouring rain and sat together in the van looking at the wet leaves, remembering together so much we'd share. Autumn leaves will always remind me of Dad and joy, and I'll always be always be overcome by an urge to go jump in them. You know, what I really miss now that I'm over this in Bulgaria, I miss the simple things like coming home from something and just sitting in the kitchen talking to my mom about my day, or taking Charity to the store with me to buy something, or hanging out with Sydney talking about the boys and schools and friends all night on my big bed. I miss helping Jonah wallpaper his room and having him come put his arms around me. I miss Dad sitting at the kitchen table late at night telling me to come sit by him and talk a while as I walk through. I miss talking to Eli as he sits on the repentant bench about what he needs to tell Dad and Mom so that he can get off the bench. He'll be mad at me for writing this. I miss talking to Noah about girlfriends, or having him come give me a hug just because. I miss Tamalj sticking his head out the door to the garage as I backed out in the car yelling, "Be sure to wear your seatbelt." I miss Shawnee coming in my room early in the morning while I'm still asleep and asking which shoes look best with my outfit. I miss Josh's gentle smile, and I miss him showing me cool things I never would have noticed on my own. I miss long drives home from Jackson Hole or Bear Lake, singing all the family songs, or complaining because Dad wants us to sing the family songs, or because he crowded or hungry. I miss laughing together. I miss making cookies with the little kids and eating all the dough before we can get around to baking it. I miss a million of these little everyday things. All of these things come from the trust, love we feel for each other. And I really believe that all of this trust and love comes from the patterns, traditions that Mom and Dad helped us to set, the examples they showed us, and the little things we did every day. Now, I know that was a little lengthy, but I really had to read that to you. If I dissected that, you would have missed all the important parts. All right. So she says all of this to say, guys, listen, that sometimes in life, the little things that you take for granted as adults, your children do not. All right. So never, ever just take it and shovel it under the rug because you think it's too minuscule for them to even appreciate. Let you not be the one to determine that. Allow them to grasp and gravitate to the things that they like. By doing so, they're able to take away things for themselves into their adult lives that you might not have thought was a big deal. It was trivial. You know, it was nice to be able to read a letter from my daughter for Mother's Day. And she mentioned all those little points in there that just served as a reminder to me, because it said to me that, number one, she's really, really keenly paying attention. And again, the things that may come natural to me may be a huge thing to her. And so in part, I did the same for my mom as well. I sent her a message just covering all those intricate points that she might not have thought about, right? I mentioned to her one of the biggest things for my mom, and if you've read the post that I placed on Facebook, there's a part in there that specifically says, "Mom, I can't tell you the endless amount of times that I have gone to a function or met with someone that she knows that I know. And let me tell you, every single time, without failure, they will ask me, 'Where is your mom? Where is your mommy?' And I said to them, 'She's just not here today.' And they'll say, 'Send her my love. She's such a beautiful lady. She's just so kind. She's so sweet.' And they will go on and on and on and on. So for me, that sets an example as an adult child that it's not the big things you do in life. It's just the simplicity of life and what you have to offer, and the fact that you're genuine and you're not putting on a facade. You're being true and honest to who you are, because people are ultimately going to see that, and they're going to see straight through the smoke screen. Because believe it or not, there's a whole lot of people out there smoke screening right now. And you have to allow God to give you the discernment to be able to see through all that smoke and see the person for who they are. You don't judge them, because the Bible asks us never to judge anyone. But you'll certainly know when you need to step out of the way and allow them to do their thing. All right. So in summary, I pray that you enjoyed that story. I just thought that was pretty fascinating. She had a whole bunch of things bundled up in just one simple letter when she gave her feedback for this book. And yet, that's so many things that she enjoyed that she was able to take away. I'm sure she'll never, ever forget them. She'll always remember them for as long as she lives. So in summary, with all of that said, here are some things that I want to share with you as a little conclusion, right? There, in a nutshell, are the reasons to work at family traditions because they offer opportunities to create memories, share love, and build strong bonds between family members. And that's what we need in our family structure. As we're working to create that strong family bond, it helps to ensure and emphasize the love that you have for your children and vice versa. All right. It creates strong bonds between family members. This will not only help your family life be more peaceful and rewarding, this will also give your children memories they can draw on no matter where they are or who they grow up to be. So, what a great way to end that. This book has been just an absolute joy. By now, you should have picked up some tidbits that you're able to use in your own family household. So if you loved what you heard tonight, I'm going to ask you to hit the love button. Also, if you join me on this live later on, after you've watched the entire live, please comment and also type replay. But aside from that, if you'd like to learn more about me and my journey and what I do, you can log on to my website. It's holisticwellbeing.com, and it's spelled with a W. WHOLELISTIC wellbeing.com. So guys, I am so delighted to be here. I'm always grateful. I extend my gratitude to you for those of you that's been with me for the 500th day that I am here today. I thank you so much for traveling with me to all these other states and countries and just being there when I do my antics and crazy things. It's been a wonderful journey. So I appreciate you. I love you guys for all that you have done. My prayer, you are always in my prayers when I go to bed and when I get up in the morning, just praying for the best for you and your family. All right. So that's all I had for you this evening, as if that wasn't enough, but I just thought it was such a fantastic segue from our Mother's Day event and then from my son's birthday and everyone else was celebrating birthday and celebrating their moms. And what a great segue to go into traditions as you start to prepare a new outlook on life for yourself, especially given all the time that you've had for the past 2 months. All right, guys, I love you guys. I'll be back again tomorrow on day 501. Until then, be safe and try to establish some traditions with your household. If you don't already have some, find just one. Try not to overcomplicate yourself, and then share it with your family. See what they like. First of all, find out if there's things that you did in the past that they like. Don't reinvent the wheel, and build on that one and see what you can come up and create for your family. They'll never ever. You want them to have things that they'll always remember, because we're not always here for long. We won't be here for long. Right? God forbid something happens to us. Nothing ever on this earth is promised to us but a good salvation. All right? So be blessed. I'll see you guys. Miss Margaret, thank you for joining. Wanda, thank you for joining. Gloria, I think I saw your head pop up there. Boop, boop, with a little bubble. So I'll see you guys back here again tomorrow. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. And again, I'm so forever grateful for your support. Take care. Ciao.